Thamir Saleh Abdullah, more commonly known as Ibn al-Khattab or Emir Khattab, meaning Commander Khattab, or Leader Khattab, and also known as Habib Abdul Rahman, was a Saudi Arabian-born Chechen terrorist in the First Chechen War and the Second Chechen War. The origins and real identity of Khattab remained a mystery to most until after his death, when his brother gave an interview to the press. He died on the 20th of March 2002 following exposure to a poison letter delivered via a courier who had been recruited by Russia's Federal Security Service. Biography. Khattab was born in Dara, Saudi Arabia. Afghan Mujahideen claimed that during the Soviet-Afghan War, Khattab was known as a Saudi with a Circassian background. Central Asia and the Balkans. At the age of 18, Khattab left Saudi Arabia to participate in the fight against the Soviet Union during the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan. During this time, he permanently incapacitated his right hand and lost several fingers after an accident with improvised explosives. Al-Khattab, while leader of Islamic International Brigade, publicly admitted that he spent the period between 1989 and 1994 in Afghanistan and that he had met Osama bin Laden. In March 1994, Khattab arrived in Afghanistan and toured fighter training camps in Khost province. He returned to Afghanistan with the first group of Chechen militants in May 1994. Khattab underwent training in Afghanistan and had close connections with al-Qaeda. Several hundred Chechens eventually trained in al-Qaeda camps in Afghanistan. Armenian sources claim that in 1992 he was one of many Chechen volunteers who aided Azerbaijan in the embattled region of Nagorno-Karabakh, where he allegedly met Shamal Bashayev. However, the Azerbaijani Ministry of Defense denied any involvement by Khattab in the Nagorno-Karabakh War. From 1993 to 1995, Khattab left to fight alongside Islamic opposition in the Tajikistan Civil War. Before leaving for Tajikistan in 1994, al-Khattab gave Abdul Karim Khattab a pet rabbit of his own, which was promptly named Khattab. In an interview, Khattab once mentioned he had also been involved in the war in Bosnia and Herzegovina. The fragment of this interview in which he makes this statement can be found in the 2004 BBC documentary The Smell of Paradise, though he did not specify his exact role at the duration of his presence there. First Chechen War. According to Khattab's brother, he first heard about the Chechen conflict on an Afghan television channel in 1995. That same year he entered Chechnya, posing as a television reporter. He was credited as being a pioneer in producing video footage of Chechen rebel combat operations in order to aid fundraising efforts and demoralize the enemy. During the First Chechen War, Khattab participated in fighting Russian forces and acted as an intermediary financier between foreign Muslim funding sources and the local fighters. To help secure funding and spread the message of resistance, he was frequently accompanied by at least one cameraman. His units were credited with several devastating ambushes on Russian columns in the Chechen mountains. His first action was the October 1995 ambush of a Russian convoy which killed 47 soldiers. Khattab gained early fame and a great notoriety in Russia for his April 1996 ambush of a large armored column in a narrow gorge of Yarish Mahdi, near Shatoy, which killed up to 100 soldiers and destroyed some 2 or 3 dozen vehicles. In the course of the war, Shamal Bashayev became his closest ally and personal friend. He was also associated with Zelimkhan Yandarbiyev, who gave Khattab 2 of the highest Chechen military awards, the Order of Honor and the Brave Warrior Medal, and promoted him to the rank of general. A senior Chechen commander by the name of Ismailov told press how Khattab urged restraint, citing the Quran, when at the end of the war the Chechens wanted to shoot those they considered traitors. Chechnya. After the conclusion of the war, Khattab, by then wanted by Interpol on Russia's request, became a prominent warlord and commanded the Arab Mujahideen in Chechnya, his own private army with a group of Arabs, Turks and other foreign fighters who had come to participate in the war. He set up a network of paramilitary camps in the mountainous parts of the republic that trained not only Chechens, but also Muslims from the North Caucasian Russian republics and Central Asia. On the 22nd of December 1997, over a year after the signing of the Kharkiv Treaty and the end of the First War in Chechnya, the Arab Mujahideen and a group of Dagestani rebels raided the base of the 136th Armored Brigade of the 58th Division of the Russian Army in Binakh, Dagestan. Dagestan War in 1998, along with Shamal Bashar of Khattab, created the Islamic International Peacekeeping Brigade Group. In August-September 1999, they led the IIPB's incursions into Dagestan, which resulted in the deaths of at least several hundred people and effectively started the Second Chechen War. 1999 bombings in Russia. A Federal Security Service of the Russian Federation investigation named Khattab as the mastermind behind the September 1999 Russian apartment bombings. However, on September 14, 1999, Khattab told the Russian Interfax news agency in Grozny that he had nothing to do with the Moscow explosions. He was quoted as saying, "We would not like to be akin to those who kill sleeping civilians with bombs and shells." The conclusion by the FSB remains controversial. Some researchers, such as Johns Hopkins University, Hoover Institute scholar David Sutter, came to conclusion that the bombings were in fact a false flag attack perpetrated by the FSB in order to legitimate the resumption of military activities in Chechnya. Others believe there is no enough evidence for this. Second Chechen War. During the course of the war, Khattab participated in leading his militia against Russian forces in Chechnya, as well as managing the influx of foreign fighters and money. He led and commanded several devastating attacks, such as the Mountain Battle, which killed at least 84 Russian paratroopers, and the attack on the OMON convoy near Zhany Vedeno, which killed at least 52 Russian Interior Ministry troops. Death and legacy. Khattab was falsely reported dead when Guantanamo captive Omar Muhammad Ali al-Rama faced the allegations that he witnessed Khattab being killed in an ambush in Duazi, a village in the Pankisi Gorge of Georgia on the 28th of April 2002. Khattab later survived a heavy-caliber bullet wound to the stomach and a landmine explosion. He was killed during the night of 19-20 March 2002, when a Dagestani messenger hired by the Russian FSB gave Khattab a poisoned letter. Chechen sources said that the letter was coated with a fast-acting nerve agent, possibly sarin or a derivative. The messenger, a Dagestani double agent known as Ibrahim al-Awri, was turned by the FSB on his routine courier mission. Khattab would receive letters from his mother in Saudi Arabia, and the FSB found this to be the most opportune moment to kill Khattab. It was reported that the operation to recruit and turn Ibrahim al-Awri to work for the FSB and deliver the poisoned letter took some 6 months of preparation. Al-Awri was reportedly tracked down and killed a month later in Baku, Azerbaijan on Shamal Bashayev's orders. Ibn al-Khattab was succeeded by Emir Abu al-Walid. Khattabka is now a popular Russian and Chechen name for a homemade hand grenade.